Well, I know you don't know much about me. My name is Zach. I'm a life coach. I was on Big Brother back in 2014, so have a little bit of experience on reality TV. I had a great experience on the show, but afterwards I struggled a lot with just mental health and just like going out a lot. And a lot of the 15 minutes of fame kind of went to my head. I became egotistical and narcissistic and really just like humbled myself back in 2016. And since then, just been trying to get a little bit better every single day. And I interview other reality stars or people that have been on reality TV and just like to get their insights and opinions and, you know, see where they're at and things like this. I'm not going to ask you who you're dating. I could care less who you're dating or whatnot. This isn't about that. This is about the audience hearing your experience on the TV show. The TV show, what you learned about the TV show. So I guess we can start there, man. How have you been since Bachelorette?
Since Bachelorette, I've honestly been good. You know, I think you said it, like you get this, it's like the highs and lows of being on TV and then kind of putting, I don't know, I don't want to say value, but like letting a little bit of the, you know, hubbub get to your head. So it was a roller coaster. Right now, I feel like I'm on an even keel where I'm like normal. You know, there's been a couple shows since me. So, you know, I feel like I'm a thing of the past right now, which is kind of good for me. But, you know, in all, I'm happy, you know. It was something that I'm glad I did. I wouldn't change a thing. I really wouldn't change a thing. I'm glad that it panned out how it did. I have great friends from it, and it was an overall great experience, and it taught me a lot about myself. So it was good.
What did you learn? What did you learn the most about yourself from being on the TV show?
You know, I tapped into a deeper level of emotion that I never thought I had. Being in a secluded environment like that, like most people will never get the opportunity to put away work, put away friends, put away family, and just sit with themselves and their thoughts and their feelings. And being able to do that, you really find out what your metal is. What are you made of? Who are you? And that's kind of who I found in that space. And then I just took that guy out of it, and I've just been living with him ever since. And I love it, you know. The part of me that's emotional, the part of me that's like emotionally intellectual, the part of me that's thoughtful, the part of me that's kind of humbled in this sense, and it kind of just let me know who I am in a sense. And it's crazy that it took me, you know, 33 years to find out. 34 now. When I was in 33, it took me that long to be able to put myself in that mindset and to come out, I don't know, different. You know, you live life and you're like, man, you really need some things to kickstart you into change. Like, and it was drastic, but it was the kick that I needed, honestly.
Good, man. You know, people don't understand how much downtime we have on these TV shows. I mean, I don't know all the ins and outs and the production type stuff and logistics about, you know, how you get from California to wherever you guys went and how much time you actually spend with the Bachelorette, etc. But on Big Brother, dude, I mean, pretty similar to Bachelorette, there were 3 episodes per week. One of the episodes was live, but bro, during the week, we have hours and hours and hours of downtime where we're just like sitting in a room. I mean, there were times, I don't know if you know much about Big Brother, but there are competitions, and the competitions that were outside in the backyard, we were locked in the house for like 12 to 24 hours. There were times when the crew would have to come in and clean the house, and we'd all be locked in a room. We weren't even allowed to talk, right? So we're just like sitting there for like 4 hours, all silent, staring at each other, like, you know, playing tricks, throwing Cheez-Its at each other, whatever. But people don't understand how much downtime. So was there a lot of downtime? Is that what you meant by like you had time to think? And
by downtime, like you generally not filming that much. Like in the day, unless it's like a rose ceremony, for those you just filming all night because the day is prep for like the producers to talk, to get what they want. You know, weather could change things depending on if you're shooting outside or inside. Things may change. Like there was just so many moving parts that by the time you started filming, it was just so long and drawn out. But it was in the evening, so during the daytime, you're either doing like B-roll, which is like your prep, like in front of the camera. You're getting your like outfits approved so they can okay it for a camera, and then you're just kind of by yourself. We were unique in that whenever we traveled, we were just on the boat, but we had our own rooms. So whenever they didn't need you, you were stuck in your room. You couldn't just roll around. And you're
Right.
just by yourself for hours and hours, and they don't want you to talk to each other because, one, they don't want you being too buddy-buddy. And then two, they just want you focusing on the girl so you can kind of just, it's like a hyperbolic time chamber where things move so fast, but you have so much time to yourself, you have enough time to think everything through 10 times over. So you either get second guess yourself. It's just a lot of thinking and a lot of solitude, more so than anything.
Right. What was the biggest difference between Nate before Bachelorette and now Nate after Bachelorette?
I think I'm a lot more conscious of time, if that makes sense. Before, I don't think I took the time that I had with people as seriously. And I don't think that I took my conversations as serious, being they weren't always intentional. Not that every time that I have a conversation, I need to get something from someone, but there could be a moment where I like check in on people and like really dive deep into like the deeper parts of, what someone is, like not knowing if someone's going through, and if someone's just always going around, just being high level with you. Hey, how's it going? How's work? Like, you don't really get into those deeper connections with people in life. And that's kind of something that I took from that, just being intentional in that way.
Was it weird being on the season with two Bachelorettes?
It actually was. Like, I wasn't, like, obviously I've never been like a normal season, but I felt like since it was so nuanced and no one knew how things were going to go, it kind of felt super unorthodox at all times. We didn't really guess how, we could never like, okay, this is how this week's going to go. Like, this is kind of what should happen here. It was kind of just random. And because there were two Bachelorettes, we were kind of pandering to two individuals' needs all the time. So it was just a ruckus. Like, if one of the other girls got upset, it like kind of filtered over into Gabby and then our side. So it was kind of like, if they're not doing good, we can't do good. And it was kind of annoying at times because of it. But yeah, it was just a ruckus the whole time. But it was fun. It was fun as well. But it was just wild.
Yeah, my girlfriend at the time, now my fiance, actually, that was the first season I've ever watched of The Bachelorette or Bachelor, and now I'm hooked, dude. I watched all of it. You know what it is about it? And I know you're not going to take offense to this, but like, it's so cringy. It's so cringy. It's like a car accident, or like, you see like a football player break their leg, like a terrible, gruesome injury. You're like, you don't want to watch, but you can't help but not watch. Right? Like, for example, during Zach's season, I think it was like, I forgot, Fantasy Suites, or it was the last couple weeks, and he said he's not going to hook up with the girls, blah, blah, blah. I don't know if you watch. He hooked up with one of the girls. And then he told the other girl that he hooked up with her. And it was just like, the whole time, and he was even cringing. And it was so bad. But it's like so bad that I like watching it. But I don't know, and not to make this too much about The Bachelor or Bachelorette, but we started watching The Golden Bachelor. See, the difference between The Golden Bachelor and the normal Bachelorette, I feel like The Golden Bachelor is more authentic. These people are being like real, like they've had life experiences. At this point, they got nothing to gain. They don't care about followers. I mean, maybe some of them do, but they don't care about the thing. No, they just want to find someone to spend the last 20, 30 years of their life with. Right?
Absolutely.
Where like, if you're 24, 26 and you're the Bachelorette, like, it's too young to be, in my opinion, like, what do you think about that? What are your thoughts?
No, I think
don't say anything you don't want to say, but like, feel free to.
No, I agree with you. So to your first point, like with the normal show being cringy, absolutely. Like, people are on there being awkward, even for us, because we would all watch it and like, hey man, what do you think? Like, we hated watching ourselves because seeing yourself on TV is weird. But to your point about the Golden Bachelor, I think they knocked it out of the park with this one. These individuals are not looking for clout. They had probably never heard of the word clout. They don't know what social media is. And once you extract that, because saying this is saying, like, obviously with the normal, the normal show, you could pick out, okay, this person's probably here for fame. There's no one in the Golden Bachelor that is for that. And because of that, it's so authentic. There's nothing that you're going to get other than the experience of life, the knowledge of like people knowing who they are at that age, the secureness in that, and then just so much authenticity because of it. And that's what people really need, regardless of age. Like, people love, but that type, like trying to refine love after you've been through life, is something that no one has seen. And I'm so glad that they did it.
Yeah. Relationships are, I'm glad we brought this up, because relationships are so important for our physical health and our mental health. Like, having someone who you could be vulnerable to, having someone that you enjoy spending time with, having someone that helps you optimize the experience of life, whether it's traveling or just eating a meal, right? We want to eat meals with people that make us laugh and that we enjoy their company. I feel like the normal show, The Bachelor, Bachelorette, is so unauthentic in the sense that the proof being Rachel, oh my God, I'm in love with Tino. Tino's this. And let me take a step back. Everyone is in love with this one girl. How are so many people in love with one person and they don't really even know them yet? And then the Bachelorette falls in love with this one person and he does some, fuckboy shit or whatever. Wow. And now she's like in love with someone else. I think it takes away the integrity. And I think it takes away like the trueness of like falling in love with someone. And that's, I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
I think my take is I see your point, and I think there is valid. I would say that you can love multiple people, but you only have like one true love. That's why people like date, they love people, and then they have hard breakups because of the way that the Bachelorette is like kind of handled. You can garner very strong emotions just because you're so alone. This is the only person you're thinking about. So if you think about it, like think about your time with Big Brother, it feels like it's like months, but you're really not there that long. So whenever you're seeing this individual, and every time you see them, you grow so much because you're so intentional with your time. It's like weeks in a month and like in days. Mm-hmm. And so you can garner a lot of strong emotion. Now, it's hard because once you're done with this show, then you get into real world issues such as like, life goals, finances, things like politics, family. There's so much more to it. So it's easier to just ignore all the differences you may actually have in real life whenever you're just in that bubble and you're only seeing the things that, you want to see or what you can't see, because they're paid. The show's paying for the days, the show's flying you around, the show's doing all of that. So you only get to focus on your emotions. And maybe that part of it isn't real because there's other factors outside of that. But whenever you only get to focus on emotions, all the other person has to do is look pretty and be nice to you. And then the rest is kind of handled, So in that sense, it's easy to not be tricked into it, but like just fall in love with that part of someone. And then they have to find the rest of the person. So I don't think that they can love all of someone in that sphere because you don't get to see all of someone, but you do get to fall in love with a part of someone, and that part is probably authentic.
Yo, that's a good point. Well said, dude. Yeah. That is a great point. And to the complete opposite side of that, when we're not in the bubble of Bachelorette, Bachelor, like the 8 billion people on Earth or 500, 600 million people in America, we're on Tinder, not all of us, but just most people, on Tinder, on Bumble, on Hinge, swiping till their thumbs bleed, right? They find someone that they like, that they're attracted to. They have a lot of things in common. They enjoy their personality. They like spending time with them. But because everyone else, the pool of people, women 26 to 32, that blah, 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 are so easily accessible through the app, it's hard to find the good things in one person and find reasons to commit and be loyal to that one person because there's so many other options. Whereas if you're in the bubble, it's like, hey, there's this beautiful girl in front of me. She's an amazing person. She has a wonderful personality. All of her values align with my values. And why would I not want to spend the rest of my life with this person?
Yeah. There's a benefit to taking away your options. Like the fact that you can't focus. Like, and even whenever you're filming, you don't even see other women. Like the way that you just kind of move around the world and stuff, you really don't see the other women. So they're all you see, all you think about. It is so easy to focus on like just that one person, and whether it's good or bad, like, I'm not sure, but I know that absolutely works whenever you just focusing on one person. You can kind of put all your attention, all your thoughts, all your, all your heart into just building that relationship, as opposed to being out in the world and having options. Like, it's good to have options, but not to the point if you're just like distracted or just like almost like have a wandering eye. So I agree with you there.
Yeah. Right. So what's the most important thing to you when it comes to relationships, and not just romantic relationships, but family, friends? What's the most important thing for you when it comes to like having a strong relationship with someone?
The most important thing for me whenever it comes to a relationship, I think it's just like kind of mutual respect. I respect your dreams and your wishes. What you want to do with your life is not threatening to me. I don't want to be a burden to your dreams. To be a part of your life, I'm going to accept those, and I want you to accept mine and whatever I may grow into. That's kind of that's probably the foundational layer of me and any of my relationships, whether it be family, friends, just a mutual respect of our own individuality, knowing that we don't need to be the same. We can have differences and get along, and we can respect each other's differences and appreciate each other for those. And I think if we can build on that, then, everything else is kind of additive.
I like that.
Yeah.
Are your goals, personal goals, professional goals, family goals, different than they were pre-Bachelorette? Or do you feel like you're the same person, still focused on the same things?
I think they're different, and I don't know if that's because of the show. It may just because, like, through time, like, people change and stuff. But for the most part, my goals have slightly changed after the show. I think I have a little bit more opportunity, and then also being in that sphere, I got a sense of life is more than just hacking away 9 to 5. Whenever I came back to my job, it felt weird to sit in front of a computer, and I'm like, this isn't how I want the rest of my life to go. And I think that's kind of the biggest thing that changed, seeing like life outside of it, being able to step away from work for a month. It really reset me mentally. And I think that's one thing that I took away. I don't want to do that. I don't think I want to just be one dimensional forever. I think that's the only way that I can live my life.
Good, man.
Yeah.
Yo, as we kind of get towards the end of this conversation here, do you have any questions for me?
Oh my God. So with Big Brother, what was probably the biggest change pre and post? And then my second question, how did you deal with, segueing out of your 15 minutes to still being appreciative, but still like finding your normalcy after the show?
Well, the biggest difference pre-show and post-show, I think it was really tough for me because I was 23 years old at the time. And I had just graduated from the University of Florida, and I was just like a frat guy douchebag, right? And I didn't really respect other people and myself. And I kind of thought that I was innately already thinking I was better than other people just because I did well throughout my entire life in school, and I did well in athletics, and I'm now at the biggest university. We were number one party school in the nation, number one football school in the nation. Like, I went there at a time where I was like, life is too good, but I didn't realize that to keep these things going, I would have to put in hard work. I don't think the harshness of reality of like adult life hit me yet. So I felt like I went in the show as a kid. I was a kid on the show, not like a child actor in a way, but like I kind of felt like that was my mental state at the time. And then after the show, because I came out of the show with a couple 100,000 followers and people paying me for meet and greets and for Instagram posts, and like I had money on the calendar for the next 6 months, and I came home to a $25,000 check from Big Brother. I was like thinking I was the shit. And there was kind of proof there now that I was the shit because, CBS, a network worth hundreds of millions of dollars, maybe even $1 billion, is paying me 30 grand because I brought them value to their show. And now, I'm selling seats at meet and greets, and, I have a valuable asset in the fact that I have hundreds of thousands of followers. So now companies are willing to pay me money. There was proof there now that I am better than other people, right? And I don't, that I'm using air quotes. If you're just listening to this on audio, Spotify or Apple, and if you are listening, don't forget to hit follow it and leave us an honest review. And then after the show, all that proof came, and then the next season came around, like you mentioned earlier. Now, we're 3 seasons after your season. We're now 10 seasons after my season, but the next season comes out. Once the new cast comes out on CBS.com, no one gives a fuck about Zach. No one cares about me anymore. They're looking at the new guys that are on the show, right? The new good-looking dudes, the new funny dudes that are on the show. Yeah. And I didn't really see that come to fruition until my manager at the time was like, yo, Zach, we got no meet and greets on the calendar. We got no Instagram posts on the calendar. So I don't know what you're going to do for the next, 3 months. And I was like, what? I was like, dude, I just spent $500 last night on a hotel room at Live and spent $1,000 on a bottle. Like, I need more. He's like, well, I don't know what to do. Like, maybe post more content. I was like, fuck. I was like, wait, now I got to work? I was like, now I got to actually think and like put in effort to make this a reality. And I tried really hard to make that happen, and it didn't happen for me. At the end of the day, I don't have any talents or skills. I was lucky enough to be cast on this TV show because I made a good impression in my casting call. And, I'm not a singer. I'm not an actor. I'm not athletic enough to make millions of dollars and entertain people on a football field. So I was like, all right, it's time to just really humble myself, and it's time to work 60 hours a week. And I started doing that, waking up at 5 a.m. and exercising before 6 a.m. and taking care of my health and making 100 cold calls a day and networking and making another 40 calls at night after 9 p.m. And I did that for, 6-7 years straight. And then even at 29, dude, I got another job as a server at a high-end restaurant, right? Making $200 cash a night. Like, I had humility. Like, I don't care what anybody else thinks. I'm making $200 cash a night. Every single night I'm taking that $200 and I'm putting it right towards my mortgage. And I pay off my house, right? Nice. So like, it's like humility was my superpower over the last 6 years. And I'm still trying to embody humility every single day. Like, I know nothing, right? I've read all the personal finance books. I've read all the real estate books. I've read all the books on mindfulness and spirituality. And like, I still know nothing. So that's been the biggest reason as to why I've grown so much, is because I still operate from beginner's mindset. And then the second question, what kind of got me out of this was, dude, I was drinking so much, and I was partying so much. And there were a couple nights where I did shit that I was like, I could have died. What was I thinking drinking that much, not driving, but getting in cars with people that are driving that are, inebriated. Right. Yeah. So there was one morning I just woke up and I was like, yo, I got to stop doing this. And it was just, let me go a week sober. And then it was, let me exercise today. Let me read 10 pages today. And just trying to get 1% better every single day. Right. And you know what's really helped me too. And I know I'm speaking a lot, but the last thing I want to say is traveling too has really opened up my eyes to things. I feel like the more time you spend in another country, the less you care about what people from your hometown think of you. And it's weird. I was in Bali for 2 weeks, and I come back and I'm like, yo, I don't care about what anybody thinks about me, because there are millions of people in Bali that are just roaming the streets, having fun in the water. And I'm like, I kind of want to live that lifestyle. And right now, for me, it's just about finding that balance between trying to make an impact, trying to make 7 figures, and savoring life, and just living a simple life, just finding that balance.
Yeah. Good for you, man. I love that. That's so deep. Thank you for sharing that with me. I love that.
I appreciate that, Nate. Thank you so much. And do you have anything else you want to get off your chest or leave the audience with today before we wrap up?
Yeah. I was leave with thank you so much for having me. For one, like you said, I didn't know you before, but I'm so glad I met you. It feels like so much more depth to you. So I appreciate the time that you allowed me to share with you. To anyone else, I just say, always be grateful, always be mindful. And if you have the opportunity to bless someone with a smile or kindness, always pay it forward, because you can change someone's day with kindness. So I'll just leave it at that.
So true. Such a small gesture that makes such a big impact.
Yeah.
Nate Mitchell, man, thank you so much for hopping on the podcast today. It was a pleasure speaking to you, get to know you a little bit. I know all the people that are listening are reality TV fans, and they're going to enjoy listening to this episode. If you are watching on YouTube up till this point, thank you so much for your time, energy, and attention. Don't forget to hit subscribe and the like button. If you're listening on Audible, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts, please give us a follow and leave an honest review. We recommend 5 stars. Thank you guys so much, and we'll see you guys on the next episode of the Live Better Now podcast.